Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, whichever great part of this planet you're residing in. Welcome to my channel. I am Nelson. You're watching Nature Nell. And if you're brand new to my channel, thank you for coming on board. You will not be disappointed. I have so much to show you guys this wonderful spring, like what's in bloom in May. And I'm going to do a two for one. I'm going to show you guys a small haul that I recently did over at the Mount's Botanical Garden. If you guys haven't watched that video, I urge you to watch it. It's really cool. It's a little noisy with the planes, but I made it work. There's a lot of great stuff there. You could kind of see what I started gravitating to, but there's some surprises in there that you have no idea what I brought back home with me. So anyways, guys, I'm not going to chat too much because this is going to be 2 episodes in one. I don't want to extend it too long. So without further ado, let's go look at some blooms. All right, my wonderful followers, let's start where we usually start, which is right here in the beginning. Now, I did feature this beauty, this rustic spots with Kelly Leia a while ago about my last What's in Bloom. And if you guys compare this color to the color when it's freshly opened, I urge you guys to go and watch my last What's in Bloom. You're gonna definitely see a difference in the color changes, because I was explaining that these do change colors as they get older. It's still fresh as the day it opened, but look at the colors on that, how pretty. Let me see if I can get up. And yes, I'm still battling with the pollen. It's been, but you know what? I don't care, because I've got so many blooms around my garden, thanks to pollination, that I am very, very grateful to. Well, blooms don't happen due to pollination, but the fact that there's a lot of blooms causes more pollen in the air. But isn't that gorgeous? And that's, in case you guys want to see the name. And I did put this on a pot. I reversed the pot. I use these for cattleyas most of the time, but I reversed it and tied it with tie wraps, and voila. Now, I want to take you guys to a spectacular bloom. Look at this. It's so heavy. It's, let me see if I can like do something here. I'm sorry, guys. Look at this incredible cluster of blooms. Now, what does this remind you of? Doesn't it give you a feel of the Cattleya schilleriana? Now, this is a cross that Carl Smith has. I believe they created this cross themselves. Hold on. I want to be very delicate with this, because if this breaks, I will die. There we go. This cross, they still do have some of these. I was speaking to Julian, and he says it's a shame that a lot of people haven't noticed these, because they are running out, and once they run out, I don't think they're gonna have any more, at least not for another 5-6 years. So that's the name. If you guys are interested in reaching out to Carl Smith and saving one for yourself, putting one aside, they will be at the Redlands show. So if you guys call them and order one and pick it up at the Redlands, they would be more than happy to do that. But check out, to me, it's just an incredible work of art. And if you guys want fragrance, before you even walk in the area, it's saluting you with an amazing, amazing fragrance. It is so just intense. Right now, this is like my pride and joy. This is the second time I get it to bloom for me. This time it blooms even more. And look how big they get. They do get kind of big. So if you guys don't have the space, you know, you may have to think twice about it or make the space for it. But it is a pretty large Cattleya. Now I did cover this in my last What's in Bloom, but I will cover it again. I'm not going to cover everything I covered in the last one because it'll make it too long. But I just love, love, love. This one only blooms once a year. I bought her, I would say about 3, maybe 4 years ago at OFE's. Just bought her on a limb. They had them there, and I was like, you know, I haven't seen this around anywhere. It's a very cool hybrid of a grammatophyllum with a cymbidium. And it grows out almost like a cymbidium, as you can see. And it's cared for the same way you care for grammatophyllums. You don't water them that much. Now, I did water this morning because today I may do my feeding, my weekly feeding. But look at this here. From last week's feeding, it pushed out another spike. That's why it's important, guys. If you have your orchids in bloom, you can still feed. You can still feed. Just don't feed in full strength if you're going to be feeding every week, because it is not good for them. Just in small quantities, it's just enough. Now, this whole little area here, I'm going to give you a full perspective. I did with my friend yesterday, OC. Thank you for helping me. We organized this place because they're just growing so big that everything was on top of each other. So yesterday I finally put my pink princess in this beautiful tower that I got from, it's a cocoa tower that I got from OFE's. And I put 2 of my pink princesses here. Super easy to do. You just tie them with wire wraps and water, and you're good to go. Now, I want to just briefly show you, I've shown you this before, and the reason I keep showing you is because I want to show you guys how long these blooms last. You had asked me, some of you had asked me about orchids that bloom all year round and a lot. Well, this is one of them. This is a Banyang Ben fragrance, or Vanda Ben fragrance, I'm sorry. And the fragrance on this is very similar to bergamot. To me, actually, it smells like when you open a can of protein shake, the vanilla one. That's what it smells like. It's very like a cake mix. And it's a beautiful flower, and it's been blooming now for quite a couple of weeks. Now, this is going to be very promising. All these are encyclia spikes, so you guys are in for more treats later on. Now, this one, this Vanda, I don't have. If you guys recognize it, please ID it for me. I don't even remember where I bought this. I would almost say Banyang, but it doesn't have the little tag on top, so I don't know. It could be anything. You know, purple Vandas are a dime a dozen, so I don't know what it is, but the one right next to it, I do. This is the beautiful Sassicha with, I think it's Tessellata. Hold on. So much for knowing what it is, right? Yeah, Tessellata with Sassicha. I was correct. Here you go. Oh, because I know this is a popular one now that a lot of people are getting. It wasn't so popular before, but now over at Kroll Smith, they have one that is massive. But you know what, guys? Now that I look at my beautiful spike, it's nothing to be jealous from the one I saw at Kroll Smith. It's actually pretty much the same size. It is gorgeous. Isn't that pretty? And the purples, and this is another one that has a beautiful fragrance. Not as strong as a Ben fragrance, but it does have a beautiful fragrance. Now, the one directly next to it, I've covered several times, and I'm covering it again because you guys asked me for more orchids that bloom a lot. Now, the ones that I find that bloom a lot throughout the year are Vandas. So if you have the space for Vandas, there are certain Vandas that'll bloom all year round like this one. This is actually a species. It's a Vanda Mariae. There you go. And it has another little spike coming out here. So every time one spike comes out and starts blooming, another one will come out here or come out here. As you can see, all these dry spikes. So when you're going to go buy Vandas, that's something you want to look at. See, if I were to go buying Vandas, I would look for something like this. Look how many spikes it had in the past. So I know that this is a heavy spiker. If you have a Vanda that's full like this and you don't see any spikes, only one, it's a 50-50. You know, you may get more spikes later on, or you may just get this one spike a year. Now, these are some of my top favorite, and they're becoming a little harder and harder to find. Sometimes you see them a lot, but I've noticed that now in the shows, I don't see them as much as I used to. This is a Liam Singh. The tag is in a really weird spot. I need to make a new tag for this one. Hold on, let me see if I can. There we go. Liam Singh, like singing a song. And this is a very fragrant orchid. And I've been talking to Jim at Gemini Orchids, and we were saying that yellow and pink is such a great tone together. It's like the new, yellow and pink is the new black. It's so pretty. And this too, as you can see, is a heavy bloomer. So I'm trying to touch, I put these purposely together so you guys can see which are the heavy bloomers in the greenhouse, in case you guys want to repeat what I have. Now, I'm going to bring you now to a haul. This, you guys know I bought. This is the most beautiful encyclia I think I've laid my eyes on in quite a while. Look at that. I think this is even deserving of putting in a show. It's such a perfect symmetry. Everything is, it's just precise. And when you guys put, not that I'm an expert in putting orchids in shows, but I've spoken to several experts, and they say you want to get that nice round shape throughout all the petals, so that way it gives a good symmetry. That's part of the judging. See, let me see, let me try to get this one, because these are a little bit difficult to focus on. But thank you, iPhone, you're behaving so well today. I appreciate you. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Look at that labellum, or lip. This is called a labellum. For you newbies, that way you can sound very bougie when you go to the shows. You can say, oh, I love the labellum on that orchid. And the vendors will say, oh, they know about orchids. But anyways, this was a no-brainer. This was from the Orchid Society of the Palm Beaches. They've been around for 73 years. I think I got the number right, which really impressed me. I had no idea there was an Orchid Society that long. And I love that they put the name on a metal tag. It's Encyclia Orchid Jungle. Now this has Alata in it, and it's Alata Beauty. So when I saw them, it was one of the first booths that Teresita and I went up to. I'm going to see if I can put in a spot that you guys can really appreciate it. There with Morris. Hey Morris, how you doing, buddy? So there you go. This is you can really appreciate it here. It's very tall. The leaves are beautiful and healthy. And orchid societies, when they're at the shows, just know that the orchids they sell goes back to the orchid society, so you're helping them out. And orchid societies are really important because they are a good platform to help people to learn more about orchid, become experts about orchid. And I mean, the fact that this is a gorgeous orchid and I contributed to their society, you know, it was a win-win for everybody. And I'm trying to remember the name of the gentleman. I can't remember. He was really cool. Very nice gentleman. If you're watching, shout out to you. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. I will learn it soon. But they were a hoot. They were a lot of fun and jokesters. So, you know, try out when you go to these shows, try out the Orchid Society booth. You may be surprised with something outrageously gorgeous. And I went on Sunday. I'm surprised this didn't sell. I guess it was meant for me. Teresita's jaw was dropped when she saw this. All right, here we have something happening soon. This is my Bulbophyllum bicolor. That's another cute little one. Now this surprised me. Now I spoke to you guys not too long ago about a bunch of Cattleyas that weren't doing well with me. So I decided to take them out of those small, that dish that you saw the orchid hanging off the wall, the rustic spots. Well, this was in one of those, right? And I decided, you know what, let me put him in one of these mounts. I get these mounts at the orchid supply store, and my orchids really, really, really love them. There's something about these wood pieces that they just go crazy. And this cattleya that seemed like it was about to go out, and I had a bunch of those. And it's worked 9 out of 10, it's worked on the mount. It just shot this gorgeous beauty. Now, I don't know what this is. I remember having a tag for it, but unfortunately I lost it. So if you guys can tag it for me, I would appreciate it. I think I'm actually going to be doing that later today. You guys are so awesome. I got so many identifications for my flowers, and so that helps a lot. It's just so pretty. Pretty flower. And it does have a fragrance. It's I'm trying to figure out, it's like the fragrance of a rose. That's sort of the what it reminds me of, like a rosy fragrance. And here's the whole plant itself. So this is what I consider a successful comeback. When you're growing your orchids, you can grow a healthy orchid, no big deal. But when you can take an orchid that's dying, bring it back and bloom it, pat yourself in the back. So let me pat myself, hold on. Okay. Now here, I'm sorry, it's really early in the morning. In the mornings, I'm really giddy. So here is this beautiful Rex, or not Rex, oh my God, Brassia. Brassia. Maybe I'm saying it correctly, Brassia Rex. Wait, why don't I just read it? I just did a tag for it. There we go. That's the full name. But they are considered of the family Brassias. And she just had given me a spike, and look, she gave me a second one with more buds to come. And every time a new one comes out, they get bigger and bigger. This one is one of the first ones I had for many years. Because I didn't know how to take care of them, it would come and go. But now she is so happy. She really likes a spot. So I'm gonna keep her here. Right, little girl? Somebody told me it was weird that I call my plants she. But hey, men have been calling their cars she for decades and nobody has called them out on it. So let me call my plants she or he, whatever I want. They're my plants. Before I show you this beautiful grammatophyllum, I spoke to you guys about my begonias, but I hardly ever showcase them, and I don't think it's fair because they really are beautiful. Now, I found out that these are called the Begonia Rex. And my new friend Lois, over at the Begonia Society of the Palm Beaches, we had a great interview in my last episode. If you guys have not seen it, please go back and watch it. If you like begonias, it's really informative, and I learned a couple of new things with her. But Lois, I know you're watching. She's a follower of my channel. I want you to take a look at my Rex and grade me. Leave it in the comments. Because I've had these for quite a while. I've had them now for like 4 or 5 years. And they just seem to grow better and better every year. I learn a little bit more. And begonias, you know, don't give up on them. Just keep trying. If you kill one, buy another one. Just keep trying. They reproduce easy. You can root them. I root them all the time. They do like these, the Rex. They don't like to sit in water too much, but they do like to be watered every day. So give them good drainage. I have good drainage on these, and they do like shade. So if you see how I have them here, I have it under my bat plant, and underside all my other plants. So it gets semi-shade and semi-sun, and I do have a screen here, and that's how the sun will come up through there, and it'll shine all day till it gets on that side. So it does get a lot of light, but it gets diffused light, it gets broken light, and it gets shaded light. So try to mimic a jungle. You know, if you can mimic a jungle setting or a deep jungle setting, that's what they seem to like. And if you find a spot, by all means, leave them alone. Because once you find the spot they like, you don't want to move them. They love this spot, and I've moved them, I think, everywhere in this yard, and I have a 1 acre. So They're not moving from there ever. Only when it gets too hot, then I may bring him into the shack where it has the same type of lighting, but not as hot. But other than that, they pretty much live there. And most of these like it in here. Now, let me, right here, forgot the name of these. This was sent to me by the Orchid Supply store about a year ago. And look, it rebloomed. They die off and then the bulbs come back. It's so pretty. Such a pretty plant. I'm drawing a blank on the name now. I wasn't planning on covering. If not, I would have like searched the name. There's certain things here that I know I'm going to forget, certain orchids. So I'll just, as I usually do, I'll put it underneath. Now look at this chromatophyllum, guys. Now somebody told me it's not what I have mentioned before. It's a different type. So I will put the name underneath, the proper name. Hopefully I'll find it. But look at the massive amounts of flowers this orchid gives. This is definitely one of those orchids that produces in abundance, and it's just such a pretty pattern. That leopard pattern is gorgeous. It's a shame they're not fragrant. Could you imagine something this size being fragrant? So nice and quiet today. I hear my neighbor's geese. I love the sound of geese, by the way. You feel like you're in a real farm. Now look who decided to pop and bloom. Last orchids in bloom that I gave you guys, it only had 2 or 3, and I told you, oh, it's filled with buds. I can't wait to show you. Well, look. This is my Maxillaria tenuifolia Yamada, or Yamato. I always say Yamada. I think it is Yamada. Again, do I have a tag for this? Hello, Nelson. You're missing out on your tags. What's going on? You know what it is? I say I'm gonna make the do the tags, and then when I finish doing the video, I forget which ones they are. I have to go back and watch the video. But anyways, these little puppies here have the most amazing coconut fragrance. It's like this one, the yellow one, smells a little bit sweeter. It's more like a coconut vanilla. It is so delicious. Like you want to eat the flower. And they do bloom a lot. One little branch or one little shoot can give you a lot of spikes. I wonder if this is worthy of a show. Still too small. I think it should be way bigger for a show. Thing is, the red lens is coming, and I was thinking maybe I'll enter something, but I don't know what. Now I have my dancing ladies producing more. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. Dancing ladies from another, this is another plant or another orchid, Oncidiums, that I've learned to take out of the pots. They just, here in my area, they like to be mounted. Once I mount them, like this one here, this was dying off. I had it in a pot and it started, as you can see, all this started dying off. It was a really big Oncidium. And I didn't think it was gonna come back, but look, only 6 months ago, I put this up here and look at this. So guys, don't feel bad. Just try different things with your orchids. They do come back really fast. I didn't think this was gonna come back so fast. Let me see if it's still not even rooting onto the wood yet. And look, it gave me a beautiful spike. It's just now starting to open. Ain't it pretty? And these cherry babies, they have really good fragrance. A very nice fragrance. This is I forgot, I think they call this sweet baby or sweet sensation, sweet baby, cherry baby, something. It's a little bit stronger, the fragrance, than the original cherry baby. And for more coconut smelling orchids, here's my Maxillaria tenuifolia, my regular one, because the one you saw over there is a yellow. This is actually the red. And this is a deep red. There's one that's a little more yellowy orange and it's slightly bigger. These are slightly smaller and have more of a cranberry color. But look at that. Look how many flowers this has. She's just bursting with love. And you know what, guys? Play music for your orchids. I've noticed a big difference. I played music to my orchids when my radio broke. I didn't play music for quite a while. and I would get blooms. But ever since I got a new radio and I started playing it this spring, I don't know. I don't know, but and play jazz, classical. Don't play like heavy metal, guys. It's not for flowers. They've tested it actually. There's, if you can look on YouTube, the sensitivity of flowers and music, and they do gravitate to musics like jazz, classical, worship music, children's music. But when they would play things like rock or even country music, reggae music is awesome too. I've been playing a lot of reggae here lately. I'm in tune with my reggae spirit. And they love it. I mean, as you guys can see, the proof is in the pudding, as I always say. Words are words, but when you show, you can see. Now this one is starting to fade, but it's fading in a beautiful, beautiful color. This is one that I thought I didn't have, and it was a gift actually from Lee's Orchid. And that's the name of this one. It has Cordillera and Randii. And this is a very strong smelling. Oh my God, it smells so good. It's a very strong smelling encyclia. And it has such a pretty shape. It's one of the bigger ones, as you can see. The labellum is actually bigger than my thumbnail. Usually they look like that. And the labellum is very tiny. But look at this one. This one is like monster. This is like the mama. So if you guys want something that has really good fragrance, and it's large in the encyclia family, this is one to definitely get. And I've been seeing them a lot in the shows lately. So if you're going to Redland, I'm sure you're going to find them. This is their season. So you guys are going to see a lot of encyclias out in the shows. So now it's the time to buy encyclias, only because you get to see them in bloom and you see what they are and how they smell. Now this one I covered before. I just love it so much. It's so pretty. So if you guys want to know more about this, please go to my last What's in Bloom. I give you a lot of information on that. So let's go to this one right next to it. Finally, fully in bloom. This is the first time this Paphiopedilum blooms 5 flowers for me. Now I've had this one quite a while. I've had it, I would say, a good 4 years, maybe. It was right before the pandemic, I believe. And I bought this with Laz at OFE's. One of OFE's brother, the youngest brother, I can't remember his name now. He grows orchids as well. And he was selling his Paphiopedilums. And I saw this one, I just loved it. And some of the ones I have here are from him. Now I don't have a name for this. Nobody has been able to tag it. People have come forward and given me names, but this right here, this thing right here that looks like the shell of a turtle, that is what I can't find anywhere. I can't find any orchid that has, it definitely has Rothschildianum. I can see that in here, but I don't know what else it may have. So if you guys know of this orchid or you have this orchid, you will be my rock star, because nobody has been able, not even Julian of Cruel-Smith, the library of orchids. If he's watching, he's probably laughing right now. But anyways, this is absolutely beautiful. And that's the plant itself. It's a pretty big plant. Now, as I've shown you guys before, these are all my Paphiopedilums, and they do very well here. Now, this is a hard to bloom Paphiopedilum. She's almost completely open. Look at that. It's a full white. I believe it is fragrant. I bought this from, hold on, let me see if I can. It's so tiny that they tend to not focus too well. It's not focusing that well. But anyways, this one I bought from Springwater, and it's one of those that it just takes forever to get to bloom, and then when it does bloom, it gives you one little one. Now let's go check out, you know what, let's try this side first, since this is part of the haul. Now, I went to a home visit recently at a gentleman's house, Mr. Dave Garcia, And I went back yesterday because I realized I really wanted one of these. I covered him and I took some of the, let me see if I can get a better lighting. There we go. I saw these on his tree and I'm like, why didn't I buy one from him? Now, if you guys want these, they're going really, really fast. I spoke to him. He said that the response to the video was really, really positive, and that he's got so many orders and so many calls. He is not a grower himself, as far as to, I shouldn't say a grower. He's not a nursery. So it's not like you're going to have the opportunity of getting this orchid at any time. Once they're gone until he can split more. Oh my God, hold on. I got to stop because that dog goes on to full mode. Oh, good, it stopped. Because the one on the other side, he really will not stop. He'll go on until this video is done. So look at the beauty of this orchid. Oh, I know why, because they're training my neighbor trains his dogs. So his neighbor has a dog that goes crazy when he's training. So he'll just go on, see, nonstop. So I'll be back. All right, guys, sorry about that. It's just that he's training his dog next door. So the other dog wants to play and he goes crazy. Anyway, ranch life, hashtag. This is what they call a Schomburgkia tibiana. And I just want you to take a look at the labellum inside. That's my favorite part about this flower. Let me see, it's moving a little too much from the wind. Let me grab this one, there we go. Look at that, how pretty that is. Now, if you're watching on a live screen, on a large screen TV, I'm sure this looks even more spectacular. Now, he does have more. I did see a couple of more. I did get this one he had this one in a mount, and he told me, why don't you take this one? It has 3 spikes. But he has a lot of them that are on regular mounts. You know, the wood mounts? So you can get him on wood mounts. And I know that he's getting calls from all over to ship. So I believe he is shipping. So if you guys are not in Miami and you want him to ship it, you will have to pick up the shipping costs. He's not a company, so you can't do free shipping. But you do get your tibiana. Now, this is a tibicinus. I think that's how you say tibicinus. And let me pull back here. I want to show you guys how many beautiful flowers it produces. Now, this one's a little bit harder to capture because the petals do face forward, but it's very similar to the tibiana. And this one I got at Cruel Smith. I want to show you the back. It's so pretty. Even the back is pretty. All those ruffles. And I got this not too long ago. They do grow fast. So again, this is an orchid for people who have the space and they need to be outdoors. Do not buy these, just like Vanda, guys. Keep your Vandas outdoors or in a greenhouse. They really don't do well indoors. Some of you have reached out to me. How can I grow my Vanda indoors? I've had some of you in the north trying to grow Vandas indoors. Unless you can control the humidity, the temperature, the lighting, it's very, very difficult. Really, really difficult. There's other beautiful orchids you can keep indoors, like bulbophyllums. You can keep bulbophyllums here and there. I've kept them indoors successfully, but I would just do phals and dendrobiums. They do great inside. And Morris does great outside. Right, Morris? He's been after me all morning. He's already been fed, so I don't know what, he just wants attention. Okay, this one is a Vanda Ben Fantasy, not to be mistaken with a Ben Fragrance, even though they do look very similar. This poor beauty fell during the hard storms on the ground, and it was laying in a puddle of water, and it got a really bad case of fungus. So I started using ban rot, and lo and behold, look at those leaves. It was full of spots. It was like this, but worse everywhere. So I had no idea that the spots do go away, at least some of them. Not all of them, there's still some, but that's regular wear and tear. for keeping it outdoors. But look what a beautiful flower it produced for me. It hadn't produced one in over a year, or more than a year. And look at that puppy, how beautiful. She is absolutely gorgeous. And this fragrance on this, it almost mimics the Ben fragrance. It's very, very light, but I just love the tonality on those petals. And they're very waxy, as you can see. Now, I did just water my plants early this morning. Try to water your plants as early as possible if you have them outdoors. Number one, it's better for them. They consume the water before it gets too hot and dry out. And number two, remember your bees, your bugs, your butterflies start pollinating like later in the morning. So if you do it early, like around 6 or 7, you don't bother the bees, because I do try not to bother the bees. Now look at this. This is the big surprise I wanted to show you guys. This is a very, very rare orchid. This was a gift that was given to me by Mr. C of Sierra Madre. I don't know if he has any more. He told me he only had like 7, and he wanted to gift me this. Now this is the name of it. It's Monkai, M-O-N-K-A-I, Poppet, P-O-P-P-E-T, and then that's Marcelle, M-A-R-C-E-L-L-E. This is it's a sun orchid, first of all. That's why I decided to put her in this colorful arrangement that I did. I think it works perfect. Tell me what you guys think. It's very heavy, bottom heavy, so it won't tip over. And he says that this is one of those orchids that you don't come by often. And I gotta tell you, I am so appreciative of C and his gesture. Thank you so much, C. This is a wonderful, and the fact that you did it in April on my birthday month, I will look at it as a beautiful birthday gift. But it's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous orchid. I want to see if I can go close up to it, because she is already, she's been blooming, I guess, for a while. Here we go. That's better. So the flowers are still fresh, but not like when they first open. You know, everything when it first opens, everything is fresh, but I gotta say, they are looking really good. So if you guys want one of these, I think he sells them for $65. And I don't know if he has any more, but he does have some that are very similar, that are all not rare, but are just as gorgeous. And you can take one of those instead if you want a sun orchid that. And see, if you're watching, which I know you got, you and Susie, his wife, always watch my channel. Let me know what you think of the location I put it in. He told me that not to water the leaves too much, because they're very sensitive. As you can see, they're almost like little bamboo-ish type of leaves. So you don't want to water them too much. I tried to kind of water this. These are arantheras, I think they're called, which is a renanthera with an arachnus. I think that's what it was. Wait, hold on. No, I don't have a tag for these. I bought these at RF in the last show they had at the Bonnet House. And look, the blooms are looking beautiful, guys. This one had gotten a really bad case of thrips. This year, thrips, scales, mealybugs, spider mites, they have been on a roll. So please spray your plants, because they're everywhere, especially if you keep them outdoors. Now, I have shown this before, but you know what? It has to be shown again. This is my red dragon. Now, I did find one place that has them. It's called Backyard Blooms, and I covered them in my last video that I just posted. I'm telling you guys, you got to go to that video if you haven't watched it. It really has a lot of information, and this one goes for about $100. And the vendors are going to be at the Redland Fruit and Spice Park, Redland Show, which is about to happen in, I think, 2 weeks. We're only 2 weeks away. I don't have the dates now, but I will talk about it towards the end. Gorgeous, huh? And it's one of the most vivid reds in the Renanthera world. I love it. I love red. I love yellow, and I love red and yellow together. But I love this red. And yes, I finally cleaned out this area. Left a little hedge of these little I don't know what they're called, but I planted them here once and look, they go crazy. But it doesn't bother me. It's a very pretty, it's not a weed, it's actually a house plant that people hang. But I decided to put it on the ground and boom, they become the skirts to most of my trees. As you can see, all those are skirts from that. And they're very easy to pull out or to care. Now they do grow like weed, so be careful. You got to keep an eye on them. Now let's go into my greenhouse here. Man, my neighbor's having a great time with his dogs. All right, let's see what we have. Here I don't have anything really new that's blooming. I've shown you pretty much everything. I'm just coming in here for the newbies who haven't seen I call it the cool greenhouse because it stays very cool in here. I keep a fan blowing at all times at a low speed of 2, rotating, see? Well, this beautiful Tetraspis, I finally got the name. I do have to tag her, but I had my friend Yuri's. She sent me a text saying, hey, I have the same one. It's called oh my God, I have it on the tip of my tongue, but I do have it written down. I'll put it underneath. And when she said it, as soon as she said it, I remember seeing the tag. I saw the tag in my mind. I'm like, that's it. That's the one. That name definitely sticks to me. So anyways, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous fowl. And it gave me 3 spikes. It's been blooming for quite a while. See, this one's already on its way out. But this year, it really was a heavy bloomer. I'm so happy with it. And I love those little stripy things in the petals. Now this bubble phylum just started opening, but it's being disturbed. Let me see if I can move it. There we go. See, sometimes they'll stick. Oh, look at that. You see that? I have a culprit in here. I have to find him. He's eating my flowers. So I'm sure I will find him soon or her. Now I'm looking for it. It's a little bug. It's about that big. It has its little legs have like little claws, and when they get on that and you try to pull them, you got to be careful because they stick and they'll pull the whole flower with you. I try to get rid of them. Oh, here it is. Look, I knew I would find you. I knew I would find you. See it right there? They love orchid flowers. And you see those little legs, those little spiky things? If I try to pull it off from there now, he will cling on to that. So I will leave him alone. I will shut this phone off, grab him, and throw him far away. I do not kill bugs. It's not my right to kill them. You know, nobody gave me the right to do that. So what I try to do is I grab them with my gloves and I take them on the opposite side of the yard, way out there where I know it's not gonna come back in here. And I release them there because, you know, bugs do contribute sometimes to pollination. So we don't want to get rid of that. I mean, it's bad enough that we've destroyed so many bees. We want to protect anything that pollinates, like birds, butterfly, flies pollinate, mosquitoes pollinate. You know, a lot of people don't know that, but these are other bugs and insects that do pollinate. So anyway, this flower, I'm having an ADD moment, but this flower, it's a bulbophyllum Jim Clarkson. I got this at none other than Cruel Smith. They have some of the best, if not the best, bulbophyllums, hands down. And that Clark Smith, if it wasn't for that bite on the leaf, it would be perfect. But they do bloom continuously, so I'm sure it's going to be shooting out more. And I'm going to be feeding today, so possibly by next week I'll have another bulb. But you, sir, you and I have some talking to do. So let me turn this off, get rid of him, and I will be back. All right, guys, I got rid of the bug, but I did have to come back here because I almost forgot part of my haul, which I have not even planted yet. I got These two beauties, I don't remember the name of the place. It's a brand new vendor. I should have taken the name. They're Brazilian, very nice people. And I got two of these. They had them for $25 each, or $20 each, I think. It was the last day. This is a Tetraspis Wilson. I've been wanting this so bad. They it's a beautiful purplish fowl. It doesn't have, I'll try to find a photo and put it in there. But I said, hey, with this price, I'm gonna get two. So, you know, if you guys get a really good deal, get two and put them together. So that way you get something like this. See, I like to put them, these are two as well. Okay. And of course, I know for you newbies, these white spots, they go away. It's only calcium. We use a lot of well water here, so the calcium kind of sits on top, but you can literally rub it right off. But you know, tomorrow when I water, it'll come back on. So I've tried cleaning them. If I'm going to put them in a show, I do clean them really well, and they look gorgeous. They look almost plastic. So if you have calcium water, don't worry, it's not going to hurt your plants. I've had them for years and they're perfectly fine. But yeah, these are the two that I got, and that was a beautiful find. I was super happy. As you can see, I have to start thinking about bigger spaces. Everything is growing so big. These all started that size, and look at this. I've had this one now for 4 years. No, I'm lying. I've had it for 2 years. What am I got it right when I started the show. So 2 years in a couple of months, that could turn into that. Now, I have covered this before. This was one of the hauls from Smith when I went last time. This was one of my golden nuggets that I found. I call them golden nuggets when they're like too hard to believe that I got it. But this beautiful fowl, look how many flowers. It's still blooming. It's still giving me new blooms. New buds are opening. But it's such a pretty, pretty fowl. I am gravitating a lot to these fowls a lot, because you have these type of fowls, right? Then you have, I don't have anything. Look at this. Look at the lip on that. Give a little shout out to my moth orchids. And then you have the smaller fowls like this. But then you have these that look almost like the Tetraspis. Who knows? Maybe this has Tetraspis in it. It almost looks like it does. But it's a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. And this pot came from the Orchid Den, which I love Joshua's pots. They're so nice. They go great with all orchids. Now, I don't see anything here that's really opening. This was the spot. I mean, I have these that have been blooming for ages. These dendrobiums are super cool, guys. Check this out. I don't have the name with me, do I? Wait, I did make a tag. Hello. I can't remember what I tagged when I had to be careful I don't break anything here. That's what that is. Samurai. How could I forget that? And look, I need to, you know what? You're too beautiful. Let's put you here. Your flowers have been lasting a long time. Let's put you here so we can admire you. Let's do this the right way. Here we go. Is that not beautiful? And I guess they call it samurai because of the, I don't know, they look like swords. But it's one of my favorite, top favorite dendrobium flower shapes. I love this shape. It's just so unique. When they look like that, they give me that prehistoric, very old looking type of orchid. Just like bubble philums, they always remind me of something prehistoric. A very, very pretty dendrobium. And dendrobiums are heavy bloomers. You know, they will continue. Like this one here has been blooming forever, and now it's shooting another spike. So, you know, if you get dendrobiums for indoors, I know a lot of you guys can't. Oh, look, speaking of spikes, this one's giving me another spike, and it just finished with two. They do bloom a lot. If you feed them properly and you give them the right conditions, they will bloom for you over and over and over again. All right, let's get out of the little greenhouse, the cool greenhouse. And I think this is it. I'm gonna cut it off here. think we've covered quite enough. And I'm getting a little hungry. Oh, let me show you some of my, they look better at night. At night is when they look the best, my trumpet flowers. This spring, they've been really giving me more flowers than they've ever given me. They start off yellow when they're opening, and then they die off the next day, unfortunately, once they open. But here's a slightly fresher one. And this gives a beautiful fragrance at night. Go out to your garden and you can smell it right when you get close to them. Now, people used to tell me, they're poisonous, be careful. Look, my cats don't even touch them. I'm not gonna eat it. The bugs seem to like it and they don't kill off. And it's a beautiful plant for your garden. You know, it's dangerous if you're gonna be sticking it in your mouth and eating it. But other than that, it's fine. Now I decided to I never showcase this. This is my Nepenthes pitcher, large pitcher plants. And she went through the ringer with the storms out here. This one's another one that fell, was in the ground. I didn't even notice it. It must have been there for like 2 weeks. With all the rains, I didn't notice it was like literally on the ground. And I put it back in this pot instead. And lo and behold, she has bloomed like crazy this year. And she has a lot more to go. And they do contain water, you see? And all those are little dead bugs in there. Now, I've heard different things. I've heard that that the bugs don't get nourished. I actually heard, here, see, there's one there. As soon as they go in there, they can't get out. So I heard that they consume their protein from the bugs. And I believe it, because you're not supposed to fertilize these. I was told not to. You can kill them if you fertilize them. But look at what a beautiful pattern. Speaking of prehistoric, tell me if this doesn't look prehistoric. It looks like it's gonna eat you. And it's just a beauty. It's a must-have in any garden. If you have the space for it, definitely put them in your garden because they are a lot of fun. I have one in my shack that's really cool. Here, I'll just show you. Why not? If it goes a little bit over, you guys are always telling me how much you love the long videos, and I'm always worried that they're too long. So let's just go with it. I got this at my last visit to a Popka. It's more of a rounder, thicker pitcher. And this too has water inside. But I love that it has this little hitchhiker sun dude. You see, because this one is definitely a hard one to film. Let me see if I can switch lenses. No. There we go. Yeah, because this phone has 3 lenses, but one of them for macro or micro is way better. You can really capture the detail. So that's a tiny, tiny little plant. It'll get bigger, but those little spikes that you see on there, or tentacles, are sticky. And as you can see, she's actually pushing out new shoots. So she is healthy. She likes it there. That's like the second one I see push out. And it's just awesome to have that. It's a little environment of its own. And I got this, I would say about a month ago. And I'm super, super, super excited about that one because I really wanted one of those sort of, I call them dwarf pitchers because they look like they're dwarfed. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I wanted to show you more, but I think we'll leave it for the next one. So let me turn this camera around. All right, everyone, that is it. That was a good one, huh? That one had a lot in there. I was even surprised myself as I was walking around. I realized, wow, that's really a lot to show. So I am really excited about this episode. I can't wait to edit it. But before I leave you guys, I want to talk to you about, hold on, let me move to the side. The Redland Show. It's right around the corner. You guys, if you're down here in Florida, please, 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 you have to make it there. It is, if you love orchids and plants, it is one of the most amazing outdoor shows that I love to visit. Now, there's one caveat or one thing that you should know. If you go there knowing this, you're golden. Take cash. Don't take credit cards. I mean, take your credit cards, but you probably won't be able to use them. Especially Saturdays and Sundays, it gets so crowded that the signal is just super, super difficult to charge. And the poor vendors, they get very stressed out because it costs a lot of money to do these shows, you know, and for some of the vendors that fly down internationally, give them some love. You know, they spend a lot more to come to these shows to bring you guys some beautiful orchids. So bring cash, that way they don't lose out on a sale and you don't lose out on a great orchid, because it's happened to me and I've learned my lesson. So anyways, the dates are there, the information is there. I hope to see you guys. Let's push this back. I hope to see you guys there. I will be there Thursday and I will be there Sunday. Now, Friday and Saturdays are usually my busy days at my business, but if I do get a little chance to escape, then I will probably hop on over, because I'm not too far from the park. It's a fruit and spice park, which even on a non-event day, it's great to visit because it has great stuff to look at, especially all the fruit trees that they grow there that are local, and some that are not even local that they actually grow and show you different types of exotic fruits. Like my favorite is the jackfruit. They're about this big. It's a fruit and spice park. So let me think, do we have anything else that I'm forgetting? I can't think of anything else. I know every time I close the channel, I'm like, I forgot that. But anyways, I always leave it for the next episode. Thank you guys for so many wonderful comments. I love your comments. I don't even know how I'm doing this, but I'm responding to every single one. I may write something or I may put an emoji. I love putting emojis because they express how I feel as I read them. So I will try to get to all of them always. Please, if you send me emails, sometimes I don't get to read them. I get a lot of emails, not just from this. I get it from other people that I meet out there at the shows. So if you want to send me a message, do it in the comment section. Try to keep your comments minimal because they're getting more and more. So some of you have sent me letters. God bless you. I love you so much for it. But it's getting a little hard for me to respond to all of them on a timely manner. So I want to give everybody else an opportunity to read a response or get a response. So if you have any questions, try to keep them minimal. If not, just follow my channel. A lot of your questions are actually on my episodes. If you watch my episodes in the What's in Blooms or hauls, I usually give you orchid care. Even when I'm out there with the vendors, I give you guys always education in orchid care. So you can always go back and learn something new. Because I do get some that have sent me a long list of things of how to grow their orchids, and it just, I do respond, but it's getting more and more difficult. So now it's not so bad, but I'm sure in the future is going to get way crazier. So let's try to keep it a little bit short. Also, I want to thank you so much for not skipping the ads. I have seen an increase in my funds. I did not know that this was a thing. I'm trying it out and I have seen a substantial amount. I looked at my analytics and there's a substantial amount of increase. So thank you for helping me out, because making these videos does cost a lot of money, especially when I go on road trips or to the parks. That all comes out of my pocket. So when you guys contribute by just not skipping the ads, I really appreciate it. Now, I know a couple of you, I did cut the cut and paste. I keep them in a folder. People who have given I think it's called super chats. I'm still learning this stuff. I don't even know how they do it. I had to ask somebody, how do you do it? And they say, oh, there's a heart and a thanks, and then you hit it. I guess it's in the computer. I don't think you can find it on the phone, because I couldn't find it. And they've donated money to the channel. So thank you so much. That money will definitely go back into the orchids and into my trips. So I thank you. There's been 3 viewers so far that did that. And I will make sure to give you the credits right here. I don't know where I can fit them. Maybe here. Pick. So those are the 3 that have given. So thank you guys so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. I didn't even know I had that function. Like I said, I never intended to do this for the money, but it does get expensive. So if you guys contribute, highly appreciate it. Anyways, what else? Oh, and thank you for all the newcomers. You guys have almost reached me to 6,000 in almost no time. So cheers to all the newcomers that have subscribed. I love you all with the bottom of my heart, and I appreciate you very much. You guys are the reason I do this channel. Without you, there is no channel. There would just be a floating video out there with no views. So thank you. I can't thank you enough. That's why when I see you in person, I always thank you guys sincerely, because I do appreciate you, and I do not take 1 minute for granted from my viewers. So with that said, I am Nelson. You have been watching Nature Nell, and remember to always keep it green. See you next time, and see you at the show.